Okay, well, this is quite a big concept, really. Um, just before we've been talking about love, and I suppose the opposite of borders is love, and you've just explained that using some quotes from the Quran. So my angle is a bit more pessimistic in the sense that I'm looking at uh, borders from a political point of view and also a humanitarian point of view, really. So the song Borders, I suppose, was partly about the refugee crisis, the Syrian crisis in particular, and probably it was inspired, or some of the words were inspired by someone I met in Italy in the summer of 2017, a lady who I was working with briefly, just for a week or so, and she filled up with tears because she was so ashamed of her country's response to these people, the refugees from Syria, washing up in in boats in some cases, and obviously a lot of dead bodies, dead children, dead babies, and but those who are alive and or were alive being in some cases turned away. And even this happened again recently, last summer as well. They were turned away and then had to make their way to Spain. Spain did accept them, so it tells you perhaps a certain amount about Italy. But it's not just about Italy, really, is it? It's about the attitude of the ever-growing right-wing and extremist government, popularist governments. Obviously, Donald Trump is a clear example who probably gained his presidency on these ridiculous claims about building a wall, which is a border, of course. And rather sadly for me, very sadly, the UK is now, well, if it's successful in its Brexit, and it's not clear if it will be successful or not, but if it is successful, then yeah, that's building a wall, really. That's putting the borders back up, the borders that came down, I think the year before I was born, 1971. So it's a ridiculous retrograde step, and to my view, appalling. Um, the song itself came from that. Some of the lyrics, some of the ideas, very simple, uh, very simple lines, very slow lines. Not many lyrics. There's only a few lines to the whole song, and it lasts. Well, on the album, it lasts 10 minutes, over 10 minutes. I have a version at home waiting to be completed that lasts 35 minutes, 32 or 35 minutes, depending on the edit of it. But the words are very simple. It's the idea of if you come face to face with it, if someone in that crisis situation, someone who's left their home and been travelling for days, weeks, months, years, hungry maybe, uh, in a desperate state, how they would look at you as a comfortable Westerner or a comfortable middle class person. Could be from any country, it doesn't have to be from Britain. And most probably, and quite rightly, I think they would probably view me or someone like me with a lot of suspicion. So that's where the first lines come from. I've sometimes extended the hand of friendship to people and they've turned away from me, and I think that's fair enough, really. I think that's a very reasonable response, considering. But when I do offer the hand of friendship, it's obviously not meant to be patronising, but some people take it that way. I think regarding the music, though, completely different. Originally, Borders was going to be a kind of folk song with a very traditional English tune. So I was singing the words along to that, actually, which is sort of based on a English Irish folk stuff. All these what we call pull-ons and pull-offs. Very simple chords: D, C, G, with all the usual, all the stuff that I've been doing for years, really. Stuff from Jimmy Page and Bert Jansch, people like that, Richard Thompson. But the words didn't feel quite right. And I thought, oh, this is a bit of a shame, it's not quite right. So I kind of shelved the song. And then a few months later, I think January this year, so just nearly a year ago, I suddenly had the idea to use this little, this little thing. That kind of key, which is the saddest key, so people say anyway. The classical musicians say D minor. This one, you can play it in 3 or 4 different places. Even here on the guitar, you can play it all over the guitar, really. And people say it's the saddest key, and suddenly this came from nowhere. And that just fitted the words, so the whole song came from there, really. So I was happy then, because then I could then go ahead and complete the main part of the song and the chorus, all based around that same key. So it's the music, really, that does it for me. It's not really the words are good, and I'm really happy to write words that are quite strong, but without the right music, the words are going to be just kept in a book somewhere. It's the music that sets the tone, and that's the reason why I write, really. It's not really the words. The words are I'm very proud of the words, but yeah, the music more so. And the other thing about Borders, probably I would say, it's kind of very typical of the more progressive end of what I do. Some of what I do is very simple, with 3 or 4 chords, or 2 or 3 chords, but some of it is based on very progressive music, with lots of different themes, different ideas, and different styles of guitar playing. Picking, strumming, this kind of picking, with a lot of ringing open, almost like a piano in some respects, like a piano chord, and then some kind of rocky stuff at the end. And it brings us to like a suite of 3 or 4 bits put together, and it's 10 minutes long. And so at the moment I'm very happy with it. Let's see how long that happiness lasts. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.